I think one interesting question is, why are all these countries spending so much energy and money in biomedicine? Is it simply because of the economics? I don't think so. I think what's happening here is that biomedicine is part of the expectation of the population. Just as much as energy was the expectation of populations to have a warm house, which 300 years ago, you didn't expect to have a warm house. You were lucky to have a warm house. Now everybody expects your house to have a heater that generates energy. Right now, in the progress of humanity, we all expect health. Part of our expectation is actually to take this science and make ourselves healthier, make ourselves more productive, to live longer and to live better lives.
How many patented genes are there now? Probably between 5,000 and 6,000. We know that of the 30,000 human genes, almost 3/4 of them are in the process of being patented directly or indirectly. Within 4 or 5 years, this will solve an issue raised by a lot of people. Are human genes patentable? It'll no longer be a question. They'll all have been patented.
We're not sure how many patents there are related to the human body. But we and many others have been trying to sort through the maze of patents that are out there. And companies are getting better and better at hiding their tracks. It's harder to see what is being patented, what its purpose is it the same material over and over again, or what's going on there. But as best as researchers have been able to sort it out at this stage, it looks like about 2/3 of all of the human-related patents that exist, the genomic patents that exist, the gene patents that exist related to human beings, 2/3 of that material is actually owned by 3 companies. Once you've allowed for microbial patenting, you really leave the door open to virtually any part of human genetic material or other living material can be patented. And once you've allowed, of course, for the patenting of matter, which is a natural part of patent law, compositions of matter are patentable material. Once you've allowed for that, then you also allow for the patenting of the building blocks of life itself, the actual atomic material that builds DNA. We need to remember that, of course, DNA is really nothing more than hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. A bit of sugar thrown in. That's the building block of life. So if you allow for the manipulation of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon and some sugars, then you are allowing the patenting of the building blocks of life and of humans.
I believe the patent system's not at all a bad system. I think it really can advance research. But the system becomes bad when the balance is upset between knowledge, that is, making an invention available in the public domain, and granting patents via its patent rights. And when that balance is upset, it doesn't work. That's what happened in the Myriad Genetics affair. The balance was upset from the outset, since they were claiming a monopoly. And it's odd that they would claim that monopoly. I think that if they had licensed it fairly broadly, at a very low cost, no one would have reacted.
In the maze of brilliant and complex abstractions, reduced to their genetic code, patients become a series of 4 letters, A, T, G, and C, the initials of the molecules that spell out information in the DNA. And in this fragmentation, we fear losing whatever it was that made our bodies more than simply the stuff of industry and commerce.
Cells, any other biological fluids are products. It's a very specialized product, so you cannot just get it off a shelf and sell in a supermarket, but you have a customer who comes to you and tells you, I would like to get this type of specimens prepared to these specifications, frozen or fixed and paraffin embedded or prepared in a special media. We're asked by many organizations and many people, what is your major business activity? And after some consideration, I decided to answer, it's a project management. So what we do, we identify the need with a customer in the United States or Western Europe or even Eastern Europe, we find the source to fulfill this need. And it's our procurement centers back in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. So since this product doesn't have price, human tissues are not priceable. They worth zero. But the work behind those tissues, it's very extensive. So then we charge our customers for selling those products to them. We're charging them for our work, basically.
The financial rewards of this kind of research are potentially enormous. And where there's so much money riding on the outcome, it's all too easy for ethical and social concerns to fall on deaf ears. You may be more than a little surprised when you discover the extent and depth of the research that's underway right now. More than 45 years ago, as a geneticist, I began to speak out about moral and ethical questions that were bound to crop up from cloning, genetic engineering, and fetal intervention. But other scientists chastised me because they felt these issues were a long way off and I would frighten the public unnecessarily. Well, advances in genetics, biotechnology, and embryonic and fetal manipulation have simply exploded beyond anything we ever dreamed was possible back then. Today, corporations rush to patent all parts and forms of life and trumpet the potential benefits of biotechnology while downplaying or ignoring possible hazards. They just want to make money. But long before we actually start applying new techniques and products, shouldn't we have wide public talks about their repercussions? After all, innovations in biology make us question the very definition of life, what it means to be human, and how far we will go in trying to make over ourselves and the rest of the world.